Welcome to the first episode of Barn Banter by Horse Illustrated, a podcast with something for all horse lovers. Today we discuss the holidays and the growth of Hunt Seat Paper Co. with Amy Summer Ellison. Then we'll chat with Shelley Polson about creating a thriving equestrian photography career, followed by our ASPCA Right Horse Adoptable Horse of the Month, Faith the Thoroughbred. I'm Raquel Lynn from Los Angeles. You might know me from my blogs Horses and Heels or Stable Style.
And I'm Susan Friedland from Saddle Seeks Horse, currently in Ocala, Florida. Raquel and I both grew up reading Horse Illustrated and riding as much as possible.
Today, we both write for the magazine and are friends in real life.
Join us each month as we do one of our favorite things, talk about horses and the horse lifestyle. All right. So Raquel, I've known you. I've lost track of how many years it's been now, but it's been a number of years. And we met originally in Los Angeles because I reached out to you because I loved your blog so much. A big fan of Horses and Heels. And then you were kind enough to help me as I was getting started with my blog, Saddle Seeks Horse. So I want to do a quick little interview with you for our listeners who might not know you as well as I do.
Yes,
Would that be okay?
I'd love that.
Okay.
And how exciting is it that we're doing our first podcast together after all these years?
I know it's really fun. So the first question I have for you, I know that you grew up with horses, but I want to hear about your very first horse.
Yeah, so that's a good question of what I actually consider my first horse. Because I did grow up on a farm, and I guess my first pony would be Lightning, which was a little Shetland pony. He was black and very, very old. He was my sister's pony originally. And actually, here's a funny story. When he was my sister's pony, he was named California.
No way.
But I got him and I didn't like that name. So I called him Lightning. And I think I was like 3 or 4 years old. So obviously, no one was going to convince me to change my mind on the pony's name. So I called him Lightning. He was a really old, Shetland pony. And I have memories of kind of riding him around. And I also have memories of him colicking a lot.
Oh, no.
And walking him, in the barn aisle at like night and stuff like that, because he was just, he was a wonderful pony. But when I got him, he was very old. And
it
so
sounds like you had an opportunity to learn good horsewoman skills from early on. If you were a tiny girl, I could just see you walking in the middle of winter, this colicking pony and being just a good owner.
Yeah, no, it's one of my like vivid memories with him. And I was probably around 4 years old. And I remember my dad and like everyone being upset. And of course I didn't understand how scary that was. But I was like, okay, we're just walking the pony like up and down the barn aisle in winter with the lights on. I thought it was cool.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Raquel, my next question for you is, what is the best riding adventure that you've been on?
Okay. So this is kind of I have two answers. So in terms of best riding adventure, I was freelancing for another magazine several years ago, and I was able to go on a charity ride, trail ride in Montana. And I did 30 miles in about 3 days through the beautiful, mountains of Montana. And that for me was kind of an experience that I'll always remember. Because, we rode on these perfectly well-trained, well-footed quarter horses that were just going up and down the side of the mountain. And I remember at times like looking at the edge and thinking, please don't trip because we are going down. But that was really beautiful. And then also now fast forward to living in Los Angeles and California with my horse and bringing my own mare to the beach. Fira has been it's a bucket list for me. And I've done that, I think 3 or 4 times. So bringing your own horse to the beach is just a magical experience. And I've been lucky to do that.
That is cool. And I've seen those pictures. Actually, I got to tag along with her on one of those adventures, and it was a ton of fun, but that's still on my bucket list. Final question for you. So I first met you, and like I said, Horses and Heels, your blog, but then you started Stable Style. And I know you've got a bunch of projects going on. What are you working on right now?
Yeah, so that is a loaded question. But these days I'm spending a lot of time working on Stable Style. I have a candle line. And so if you don't follow Stable Style, it's basically barn tours. I like to think of myself as the apartment therapy or architectural digest of the horse world. So we go to basically barns all over the world, and I kind of share glimpses of different tours, tips, tricks, just renovation projects, all things horse barn. So no matter what discipline you ride, you'll love Stable Style. So I have the blog, and I've expanded that to a book and then a candle line, which is really fun because I've always loved fancy candles. And so I've started these equestrian themed candles. We have Tack Room, Clean Barn, Fancy Barn. So they've got really cute names and just beautiful packaging, and the scents are amazing. So with it being
and
holiday
just to
times,
clarify for our listeners, the candles smell better than an actual barn.
Yes, the candles don't smell like a barn, which I get those comments sometimes, but you have Tack Room, which is leather and wood and tobacco, or Fancy Barn, which my husband, that's his favorite candle. That smells like red apple, pear, and magnolia. So that's like a sweet. And then like Clean Barn is actually amber and sandalwood and vanilla. So it's like a very clean scent. So yes, your candles will not smell like the barn, but they'll just kind of transport you to a little magical place after a long day at the barn.
That sounds awesome. All right. Now you get to interview me, Raquel.
Well, I'm going to start with about your best riding adventure, because I know if you don't follow Susan on her blog, she's always traveling somewhere. And you have been on a lot of cool trips lately. So I want to know, what has been one of your favorite riding adventures?
Oh, my goodness. I would say, well, within the last year, I've had a chance to ride in Ireland twice. And there's just something about riding an Irish horse in the green countryside. And they're just so solid, and the people are so fun. And so it sounds kind of cliche, Ireland, but I don't know. When I travel, I try to have a chance to ride wherever I go. And of course, right now that I'm on the spot, I can't really think of places. I know I did have a chance to ride, and I'm not even sure how to pronounce it, those white horses that are in the south of France. I think it's like Camargo, but I'm probably saying it wrong because I don't speak French. I had a chance to ride those several years ago. That was really a thrill, just because it's such a neat type of horse that we obviously don't have over here. I have yet to take my horse Knight to the beach, but the other adventure, the first time I went fox hunting, I remember I literally laughed and cried. And it was just, I think that ride, I can picture it. I was on a hireling. She was this amazing chestnut mare. She knew her job. And Yeah, I just, we jumped a ditch. Now, granted, it wasn't a giant ditch or anything, but I remember thinking, like, I don't even know how to jump a ditch. I've never done this before, but I just went with her and it was such a thrill. Yeah, so I have a lot and I hope that I can have more riding adventures. And I hope that you can join me. Although I will say I was a little jealous when you were talking about Montana. But then when you mentioned the part about looking down and thinking, oh, don't fall, I was like, oh, yeah, glad I wasn't on that trip. I have a huge fear of heights.
Yeah. Now, so my other question for you, and I know the answer, but, and that's because I've read your book, but tell us about your first horse or your heart horse.
Oh, well, my first horse was not my heart horse. My first horse was a very young, very not trained sorrel quarter horse. And I loved him and he did not love me. Not that he didn't love me. I was in over my head and I made one of those, greeny mistakes of the young person with not a lot of experience getting a young horse. And my heart horse, well, I would say is my current horse now, Knight. Tis a Knight, mediocre racehorse, but just a lovely, wonderful companion. I've dabbled in a number of things with him. Right now, we're at an eventing barn. I'm not an eventer, I like to say, maybe one day, but yeah, he's beautiful. He is, for people, if they follow horse racing, he was sired by Tisnow, who's a really famous thoroughbred sire, the only horse to have won the Breeders' Cup Classic twice. And my horse Knight looks basically exactly like his dad. So he's a lot of fun. And the weird thing is, going back to the original heart horse, the horse that I had before him was my horse named DC. And I had him for 16 years until he colicked and wasn't with us anymore. And my horse Knight could be a stunt double for DC, but they're very different personality wise, similar look, both thoroughbreds. But
you have a type.
I have a friend who told me once that she believes every horse is entitled to be a heart horse. And so I thought that was really cool. And so I'm on heart horse number 2.
That's amazing. And Knight, I'll add, he is beautiful. And actually, he was the first horse I ever rode in California when you took me on that trail ride. So I'm always grateful for that experience.
Well, that was a lot of fun. I forgot about that.
Our first guest, Amy Summer Ellison, is the entrepreneur and creative mastermind behind Hunt Seat Paper Co. Her collections are exclusively designed and marketed to horse lovers worldwide. They are equestrian gifts with a forward seat. Chances are you've seen Amy's fun designs in your local tack store. So, Amy, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast with us today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So, first of all, are you ready for Christmas?
Oh, I'm always ready for Christmas. It is my jam. I love the holiday season, and a lot of my collection is designed around the holidays. So I'm ready to go.
Good. Well, I was going to ask you, can you tell us a little bit about your new cards and those 52 thoroughbreds?
Yes. So I have 10 different holiday cards, English and Western versions. And as of right now, they are almost sold out. So hurry on over to the website to grab those. But the 52 Thoroughbreds Christmas card has been a total hit. A lot of people on social media think it's hilarious because that's where the 52 Thoroughbreds thing comes from. And if you're not familiar with the 52 Thoroughbreds story, it's a social media post that went viral on Facebook, and it goes viral pretty much every year, saying that there's a guy that has 52 thoroughbreds that need to be rehomed immediately. And almost all horse people end up getting tagged in that post by a well-meaning non-horse friend. So at this point, I think most people in the horse world know that the 52 thoroughbreds post isn't real. But but getting tagged in it is kind of a badge of honor. So I kind of played off of that.
If I could just insert for a moment, my very well-meaning cousin tagged me, I think it was last year, with that. So
yeah,
the badge of honor.
Yes, I get tagged a lot, and I always take it as a compliment. Like, oh, they think that I'm a real good horse person, and I know what to do in this situation. So it's kind of cool to get tagged, even though it's not real. Thankfully,
yeah.
So all 52 thoroughbreds are safe.
Yes, maybe you can rescue all of them.
Yes.
So I think I saw your card, Amy, and I thought it was hilarious. And I actually was the kind of person that looked at it and then started counting. So I think you do have 52 thoroughbreds on it.
There are indeed 52 thoroughbreds. They're on the front and on the back. So if you feel like counting, they'll be there.
That's amazing.
And it shows you the sheer magnetism of 52 thoroughbreds. That's a lot of thoroughbreds. Once you start looking at it, you're like, wow, that's a lot of horses.
It is.
One for each day for each week of the year.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, if you actually own 52 thoroughbreds, just think you could, switch out one horse per week, and that would last you for the whole year.
That's amazing. Funny. I did not know that.
You'd be in the poorhouse, though.
Yeah, for sure.
I have one thoroughbred, and yeah, so I don't recommend 52.
Yeah. Speaking of designing, that's really cool that you have 52 on the card, but tell us a little bit about the process. And, for example, this idea, when it pops into your head, do you immediately write it down or sketch it out, or like how does your brain work?
Well, my brain is a total mess. I am kind of I have stuff everywhere in my desk. My desk is full of little papers. So sometimes I'll think of things and I'll email it to myself, and then it will never be seen again. Or if I write it down, I have like scrap paper with like little sayings or ideas that pop in my head, kind of just scattered all over the place. But my process is I'm kind of a night owl. I love working in the dark, quiet. I do my best work at like 4:00 in the morning, which is not ideal when you have to wake up in the morning and like run a business, but that's, I do my best work very early in the morning, technically late at night. And I put my headphones on and I put on cool music and I just start making art. And it's my favorite part of my business is, spending those late hours making art, listening to cool music with my dog at my feet. And it's fun. And I really enjoy what I do.
That's amazing. That's the best way, right?
Yeah, totally.
Well, for those of, the listeners who don't know about your brand and aren't familiar with Hunt Seat Paper Co., can you kind of walk us through those early days, like when you first started? Because your product line has really expanded, especially recently, and we'll talk about that. But for those who are new and tuning in, tell us about the beginning.
Yeah. So before I had Hunt Seat Paper Co., I owned a boutique branding studio, and I did lots of branding and company identities and marketing assets. And I worked with all of these different companies, helping them grow their businesses. And I got a little bit bored with it. And so I would sit, again, late at night and make horse art for fun. And Thanksgiving Day, 6 years ago, I was sitting at the table with my mom, and I showed her some of the art that I had been working on. And she was like, you need to put those on a greeting card. So I started an Instagram just to start posting stuff and see what happened. And the Instagram page kind of blew up really fast. And I was like, okay, people like it, so I will put it on greeting cards. So I started out with 12 designs, and it kind of went from there. And, 6 years later, I have greeting cards, I have gift wrap, I have a home and kitchen line, I'm sold in over 300 stores around the world and growing. And I'm really committed to it. But it all started, just me hanging out at the barn with my horse. And I got all my original ideas from my last horse, Regal Rowdy, who was my heart horse. And he inspired me in so many different ways. But he inspired a lot of the work that I currently have and all the work from the past. But it's definitely a labor of love. I hand package everything. Everything that ships comes directly from my hands to yours. And it's really kind of a labor of love. So I hope that everybody who, has Hunt Seed Paper Co. can hold it and feel the love that I put into it, because it's immense.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, you can kind of tell, and I've been following you for so long. And I remember I actually met you at a trade show or an event.
Horse Expo.
Yes.
Horse Expo. We were there together.
I know.
I met you both at the same time.
That's so crazy. But I remember those, you just had like a handful of designs, 12, and now you have so much. And some of the stuff that you have now, your household products, I absolutely love. So can you tell everyone about those?
Yeah. So I definitely want to expand my product line into gift items to go with the greeting cards. So I started out thinking I'm going to go kitchen. So I released a line of biodegradable bamboo fiber sponges that are awesome in the kitchen, but they're even better on tack. They have like a scrubby front side, but the back side is a black terry cloth material. So it hides those leather stains when you're cleaning your tack, and you can throw them in your washing machine. They're awesome. So I came out with those. And then I also came out with a line of Swedish dishcloths, which if you don't know what those are, you should just get one because they're magical. But they're the equivalent of 13 rolls of paper towels, and you can reuse them. You can wash them. And when they start to go bad, you can throw them away, and they are biodegradable, which we love because we're all about sustainability at the end of the day. And then we also have a line of 100% cotton tea towels, and everything matches. And we've got 9 different designs of the Swedish dishcloths, and then 6 of the sponges and the tea towels. And stay tuned because there's more on the way. But yeah.
Amy, could I ask a question? I've seen your tea towels, and but I'm just curious if you could maybe tell us about one or two of them, the design, the colors, the vibe, just so the people who are listening to this and haven't seen it can have a picture.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'll just say my favorite one. My favorite one is the tall boots design, and it's kind of pop art. And there are 3 sets of tall boots that are kind of in cool kind of neon colors, and they match. There's a sponge, tea towel, and Swedish dishcloth that have that same print, and they're very vibrant and they're fun, and I love having it on my kitchen counter. I love having the tea towel on my oven because I have kind of a plain Jane kitchen, but that really kind of spruces it up, and I love it. And I love using the tea towels for like muffin baskets and stuff. So they're just kind of a fun little pop of color. That's what I really love about them. It's kind of bringing that little bit of the barn home with you.
Yeah. And they're a great gift for the holidays too.
Yeah, they're super great gifts. They wrap really easily. You can fit them in a Christmas stocking. And the tea towels, I've had so many people tell me, oh, I wrap wine bottles in those. And it's like a super easy gift because it's really, a pretty presentation, but the tea towel is also part of the gift. So it makes it a little extra special.
Oh, that's really smart. I'm going to start gifting wine and tea towels to my friends for the holiday.
Yeah, totally. And then hang a little sponge on the ribbon, like a little extra bonus gift.
Yeah, no, that's perfect for a barn mate or barn friends. I keep my horse in the backyard, but for those of you who gift for your barn mates and don't know what to get them, this would be perfect.
Secret Santa barn parties were a true winner for those.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about, speaking of wrapping, some of your gift wrap, because that's really fun too.
Yeah, we have a bunch of different gift wrap. Everything is equestrian related, of course. Everything's equestrian lifestyle. But we have standard everyday gift wrap that you could use for birthdays or, all year round. And then we have holiday specific gift wrap. And we also, on our website, we have a little blog that's at the bottom of our homepage. And we also have tutorials on how to use gift wrap scraps to make DIY bows with like a little free downloadable template that you can use to cut out your scraps. Because I always have a bunch of gift wrap scraps when I'm done.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. And again, going back to sustainability, we want to be able to use everything. So I wanted to think of a fun way to use the scraps. So we have a little tutorial on that. We have free downloadable gift tags that you can print on your home printer and put on your gift wrap. We have gift wrapping ideas if you're not sure how to use the gift wrap or how to make different layers.
What's your website again, Amy?
My website is huntseatpaperco.com. And you can find all kinds of fun stuff on there. And we've been posting a lot of how-tos lately, so that those have been pretty valuable.
That's so smart. I mean, I love that for the holidays. And I know I'm really into Christmas, and I like it when I like to give thoughtful gifts, but I love to do a really cute, presentation like you're talking about. And I guess maybe it's because I'm just getting older, but I love those thoughtful bows or, attaching something, unique and special to a gift.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
It takes it to the next level. The more time that you put into it, the more sentimental and personalized that gift becomes. So, I mean, you can take like a little simple $20 gift, but if you put some real effort into wrapping it, it makes it a really special gift that comes from your heart. And that's what we want to promote, that it's easy to, no matter what your budget is, you can have a really thoughtful gift. Even if it's just like a sponge or a dishcloth, you can use that presentation to make it extra special.
Yeah, for sure. And just like throw in a photo of someone's horse, because I think that, a framed photo of a horse, and with Instagram, everyone always is, posting photos. So you can be kind of like a sneaky friend and go on Instagram and print out one of their photos and then gift it with a frame. And I've gotten some of those gifts and I'm like, that's so cool.
That's a great idea.
That's a good idea.
Actually, I've never had a friend gift me. Well, no, I shouldn't say that.
Well, now you know what you're getting for Christmas, Susan, from me. A photo of you and Knight that I've taken from your Instagram account. But yeah, that's really awesome. Amy, thank you so much for being here and talking with us today, and just kind of sharing everything. We know your website. Tell us where they can find you on Instagram.
Yeah, well, we don't really do Instagram anymore these days, but you can find us at Hunt Seat Paper Co. Same with Facebook and Pinterest. Or if you really want to stay in touch with us, join our email list. You can do that on our website. And we share lots of cool little extras to our email subscribers and try to make it fun. So if you really want to keep in touch with us, join us on our email list and you'll get a direct link to me and my creative brain. Awesome. And then if there's anything else that I could add, I want to go back to the sustainability thing of our product line. We really care about that. So moving forward, a lot of our products, actually all of our products, are going to be biodegradable, are going to be coming from renewable sources. And we are now a official business partner of the National Forest Foundation. And we donate a portion of our sales every month to plant trees so that we have more renewable sources to make more greeting cards, right? Mm-hmm. So, by the end of the year, hopefully we'd like to be able to plant over 1,000 trees. And so that's really important to us. So there's a link to that at the bottom of our website if you'd like to learn more and see how you can also help to plant more trees.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'll look for that link and we'll link that in our show notes. Well, thanks so much for being here with us, Amy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here, and I appreciate you thinking of me for your podcast.
Of course. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
All right. Bye, ladies.
With unrivaled performance and breakthrough equine technology, Exhibitor's color enhancing system is pH balanced, contains no harsh chemicals, bleaches, or dyes, and intensifies your horse's natural coat color, coat contrast, and shine. Champion dressage trainer and international Grand Prix rider Kim Gentry says, "The quick shampoo and quick conditioner are amazing. The formula is very low sudsing, and with very little effort, it pulled the dirt and grime off my horse's coats without having to do a lot of scrubbing. The thing I'm really impressed with is how soft it leaves the horse's mane and tail. For professional showring results, Exhibitor's formulas clean and maintain the magnificence of your show horse." Our next guest, Shelley Paulson, is an award-winning equestrian photographer based in Minnesota. Shelley has combined her deep love of horses with her passion for photography to create a thriving full-time career focused on commercial and editorial work, as well as mentoring other equine photographers. She took the photo on the cover of our November-December Horse Illustrated magazine. Shelley, I'm so glad you're here with us today. And my first question for you is, were you born with a camera in your hand?
Actually, no. I don't know, probably in my early 30s before I picked up a camera.
Oh my goodness. And do you remember what inspired you to pick up a camera for the first time? And then at what point did you realize that you were indeed a photographer?
Well, I actually started my career as a graphic and web designer and was getting to the point where digital cameras, like digital SLR cameras, were becoming affordable to like normal people. And I had all these, design clients that I'm building websites for them, and they needed photography. And so I had done a little bit of photography with a film camera, but I was not very good at it because the learning curve was hard. You had to wait to get your film back to see that, I guess a shutter speed of 1/30th of a second isn't going to work. And so digital gave me immediate feedback, and I really started to take off with that. And but it's funny you say, when I really could call myself a photographer, and it took a really long time of just like living with that imposter syndrome of I'm not really a photographer. I just take these photos, for people's weddings and babies and horses. And eventually I was able to with a straight face say I'm a photographer, but it actually took quite a while.
Okay. I find that just fascinating. And then, one of the questions I have, because you do so much work for Horse Illustrated and other publications, and it's just really stunning photography, is there a certain horse breed or particular discipline that you love? You really enjoy photographing them?
Oh, I love the hair breeds, like the Friesians and the Gypsies. And even I got a little Morgan last year, and she's got great hair, and I'm so excited about that. From just a pure beauty standpoint, I love those hair breeds. But I'm a dressage rider myself, but I love all the texture and the grit of photographing Western disciplines. I love, I have a show jumping client that's, one of the, top show jumping barns in the country. And it's so fun watching those athletes work and sail over jumps higher than my head, So I guess it's probably the variety that is the most exciting to me versus, a specific discipline.
Right. Okay. And then a question that I have, you mentioned that you got a Morgan. We need to hear more about this horse of yours. And I feel like, do you have multiple horses?
I do. I moved to a 5-acre farm about 7 years ago. And so I had a little quarter horse mare that I'd had for over 20 years at that point, and had always boarded. And we bought our own place. Well, okay, I need another horse. So I bought a
Of course.
horse, yeah, kind of sight unseen off of Facebook. And she's a solid paint bred mare. And she has paid for herself 10, 20 times over because she is an amazing model. She knows how to turn it on for the camera. And I've licensed so many images of her, including one on last September's cover of Horse Illustrated, where she was the pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. But my older horse is 29, my first horse. And so I was realizing that I needed to start thinking about my herd dynamics and what's going to happen when she passes. And a friend, one of my best friends, is a Morgan breeder, and she's like, you really need a Morgan foal. And so I took her up on it, and Maisie Joy was born, and I wasn't there for the birth, but I was there a couple hours later, and I've been in her life ever since.
And I assume you've been taking photos all along the way.
Yes. Yeah. She has her own Instagram. It's Raising Maisie Joy.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yes. She's a Dunskin filly. She's really pretty, very photogenic, thankfully. And my life goal with her, and the reason she has an account, besides the fact that I just, love sharing the journey and people like reading, but someday I would love to have her as a Breyer horse, like a legit part of their line. So I'm kind of trying to build a bit of an audience to justify why they would want to make her into a Breyer.
Well, it sounds like she is Breyer worthy.
I think she is. Yeah. I think she would be a great representative of the breed.
Well, if you're listening, Breyer, yes. Go follow Shelly. Can you say the Instagram handle again, Shelly?
Yes. It's Raising Maisie Joy.
And Maisie is
Maisy.
Okay, enjoy. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And you're in Minnesota, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And so one of the questions I have for you is, do you have any particular tips for living and riding and being around horses in the winter? Because it gets pretty cold there, I believe, where you live.
Yeah. In fact, let's see what the temperature is right now. We just had a cold front come through. So it's 26 with a feels like of 13. Wow. Yeah. And it's going down from there.
So Raquel, what's the temperature where you are right now? Raquel's in Los Angeles, for those of you who don't know that.
Yeah, I think it's it's 48, but it will be 72 later. It's early for me.
Yeah, well, that I would take 48 at this point. But we had a lot of beautiful snow the last few days, so I'm not sad about how it looks outside. I'm just a little sad at how cold it is. As far as, let's talk about winter riding first, and then winter photography. I got something this year that I'm so excited about, and that is a winter riding skirt. And this is not like a skirt to be pretty, although I would like to be photographed in it at some point. But it's a wraparound skirt that's split in the middle with leg straps. And one of my biggest issues when I ride outside in the winter is my thighs get cold. And I have winter riding pants, and they're fine too, but I had a couple of friends suggest winter riding skirts because not only do they cover you and keep the elements off you, and they keep the elements off your saddle, but they trap the horse's body heat. So it's kind of like it's like a light jacket material, kind of some people have wool ones, some people have ones with like a fleece lining, but I got this one off of Etsy, and it has kind of a jacket outside and then a little bit of a quilted liner. And I've only ridden in it once, but it was so comfortable. I could post, I could do, just all my normal riding, and I felt warm. And it's so comfortable that then when I worked with Maisie on the ground for a little bit after riding, I just kept it on, and it kept me cozy and warm.
Okay. So the question that I have to ask now is, was it difficult to mount and dismount wearing a skirt?
Not really, because it's split in the front, so I could kind of like pull it back. I didn't do the leg straps until I got in the saddle, and I'm not sure if that's the way you're supposed to do it, because then that was a little tricky too. But they have clips, like, so you can unclip it and I probably would unclip it before I would get on next time so that it was easier to clip, because it was like unclip, put my leg in there, clip. So that's a little bit challenging. And probably, the other issues are, your hands and feet staying warm. And for that, I use a lot of like, those little hand warmer or toe warmer packets. But this winter, I'm actually going to be trailering to a heated barn for my lesson. So, but I still like to ride outside once in a while. And of course, bareback is always more comfortable because you get a lot more of the horse's body heat.
And if you happen to have a unplanned dismount, if you land in a snowbank, it's
hurts a lot less.
Yeah, less jarring to the old bones.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So here's the question I have, and you alluded to it earlier. So last year, well, first of all, going back to your horse, I have a beautiful horse. He's a tall, dark bay thoroughbred, and he does not like having his picture taken. So, it's like you really have to struggle and make the little crinkly sounds and all that. And he looks like a mule, which is, no disrespect to mules, but he's really tricky. And last year I tried very valiantly I had my mom there. I had my sister with me, and we were trying to get a holiday, Christmas card. And it was like, the card turned out beautiful, and I did get his ears forward, and he's wearing his baker blanket. He's in front of a pine tree, and I did like the little garland around his neck, which is kind of popular, but I want to ask you about that. But long story short, behind the scenes, I was a total crab with my sister, like, no, you're in the picture, get out of the way. And I'm like telling my mom, and it just, I felt guilty that, I created this beautiful image, and I was not the most pleasant person with my family members who I love dearly. So tips in general for shooting with snow, or just, if you're kind of like, I'm not really a photographer, but I can try. And I don't have enough hands and arms and that to get a good shot. So we need help. I need help.
Yes. The number one thing is you need helpers, which you had, and if you're doing a horse standing by itself, you almost need 3 people. You need the person behind the camera, the person holding the horse, and the person in the ears. And I bring an assistant for ears to every single shoot, pretty much. Like, if there's some rare instances where I won't, and if I don't have an ear assistant, then I really have to rely on 2 different props. And one is a horse whinny app, or sounds of horses whinnying, because that will often get ears up, but depending on the horse, it might not last very long. Like, they might put their ears up a few times and then they're like, oh, that's fake. The other is, and you can buy these at just about any pet store. They have 3 packs at Costco sometimes, but a squeaky pig dog toy there, and you can put it between your knees or put it on the ground and just squeak it. And horses go nuts over the squeaky pig toy. I don't know what it is about the sound, but it's almost a guaranteed ear for it. But again, any prop you use, a horse is going to get over it pretty quickly. Like when I'm using the whinnies, I have a recording of horse whinnies that I use, and I just make sure they don't just play it continuously. I make sure everything is set and ready to go before they play it. And as soon as the horse's ears are forward, they stop, because that extends the lifetime of that being interesting. The only downside of horse whinnies is the horses tend to put their heads up high. And if you have a breed like a quarter horse and you want their head low, then that's where you need somebody with a little more, experience to bait the horse, basically bait their head into a certain position with either treats or interesting toys, or a broom or something like that. And you really do end up having to Photoshop people out sometimes when you have to get that close.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's hard because I make my husband help take my Instagram photos sometimes.
He's an Instagram husband.
He is. And you know what? I remember the last time he kind of, Susan, it's like how you described, I was getting frustrated. And he's like, well, I'm holding the phone. I have the carrot. I'm in charge of the ears. Like, he had all of the jobs. And I was like, oh yeah, we could actually use another person here.
Yeah.
But I am going to try that pig squeaker because I know the exact toy that you're talking about and I have it. So.
Oh, perfect. And sometimes you can even just like throw things, like throw rocks or throw the pig toy. And, there's the more props you can have, the better, the more noises they make, the more interesting they are. Cause unfortunately, like horses just get over them. Like I have a big bag that's got like stuffed animals and maracas and squeaky pig and, like anything and everything that can work. Cause if I can't get ears up, I'm sunk.
Yeah. I know. And I get the mare stare. Like my mare, she will just kind of look at you and just be like, nope, not putting them up.
Yeah. And I gotta say this, my horse Fritzy, she makes my job easy. I was doing photos of her this fall and had my assistant helping, and she was holding her for a while. And then I'm like, I don't think she's going anywhere. And like, she stood like a statue with her ears forward and her, her supermodel look on her face for like 5 minutes straight. Like,
wow.
I just couldn't.
Amazing.
Yeah. I absolutely don't take that for granted because I know she's pretty special.
That's cool. So related to this topic that we're on, tips for snow for those of us who have snow in our lives, because I know I had these grand ideas last year. So Knight and I were in Southern California. That's how we met Raquel and Fira. Yes. And then we relocated. And so we were in a snowy area in the Midwest last winter. And so my thought was, oh, it's going to be so beautiful. I'll take pictures of him, like trotting or galloping through the field with the snow. And that didn't happen. But at least I got the Christmas card.
Yeah. So it didn't happen as far as you didn't go out or you didn't get good results?
Well, I think what I realized is it's really a timing thing because the snow is only beautiful in a pasture that horses are turned out in right at the outset of the new snow.
Yes. Yeah. True. Yep. Yeah. From a photography standpoint, the number one mistake I see people make is, if you're using your camera in any kind of automatic metering mode, it's going to see all that white and it's going to underexpose your photos. And so you either have to know you're going to be fixing that later or use, your camera in manual settings or use exposure compensation to compensate for that metering. That's the biggest challenge from a technical standpoint. From a standpoint of the prettiest snow, you need probably like 4 or 5 inches to get that kind of ground covering where you don't see the grass anymore, snow. And one of the biggest challenges, shoot while it's actively snowing. It's sometimes hard if it's a heavy snow for the camera to actually find the horse to focus. And I've had many photos of snowflakes with an out of focus horse in the background. I actually took one yesterday morning and I was like, oh, I thought this whole scene was going to be so beautiful. And I get it on my computer and I'm like, wah. It's a bunch of pretty out of focus photos.
Well, you could just say that's my super artsy shot. I meant it.
Yeah. If it was a little further off, actually, I would call it that. But it was like just a just probably a couple of feet off, and I was just so bummed. Yeah, I mean, I got lots of other photos, but it was just one of those I thought this series was going to be so nice. It was a horse cantering on a ridge with snow, and no, that didn't happen.
Well, actually, you know what, this is encouraging to hear that, Shelley, because I feel like those of us who are not photographers, when we follow people like you, or Raquel takes excellent photos, it's
sometimes,
that's the thing. Like, we see what has been curated, because obviously for every amazing shot that you take, there'll be the one with the ears that aren't up or that's a little bit out of focus and that. So it's encouraging for those of us who maybe aspire to take better pictures. But along with that, I wanted to ask you a bit more. I know you have a photography mentoring program and you work with people who want to up their skills taking beautiful photos. So can you tell us a little bit about that, and then like how someone would be able to connect with you online?
Yes. I have two main mentorships throughout the year, and one is coming up in January, and I'm going to be starting to open registration for that at the end of November here. And the first one is called Wings. Well, and what I should do is say the second one's called Pegasus, because that makes Wings, the name, make a little bit of sense. But I was offering Pegasus, which is a more advanced mentorship, and realized that I needed to get everybody on the same page before they did Pegasus and make sure that, they had kind of all the basic skills down. So I created a program called Wings, and it basically covers everything I know from, preparing for safe session, all the camera settings, how to nail focus, most of the time, not in the snow, and how to edit, how to do black backgrounds, how to do white backgrounds, composition, the things that I think about when I'm framing a photo. So I teach everything that's like camera and editing oriented. And then after that, I do that one's limited to 20 people. And then after that, I do a small 6-person mentorship that's more focused on business skills and advanced photography skills. Things like setting up a studio and using artificial light, how to market your business, how to find your ideal client, pricing, all those kinds of things that are critical if you want to move on to running a profitable, successful business. In addition, I have a couple of freestanding courses, one on how to do video and one on workflow, that are available anytime. But I also have a ton of free stuff. I have a blog and I have YouTube videos and all that. If they go to Shelley Paulson Education, they'll find those there. And then every Monday, and this was funny because I was going to say this, every Monday I do a carousel, like a series of graphics where I share either a business tip or a photography tip. And I did one a couple of weeks ago that is about that I take bad photos and why you should too. And it's all about, what we were talking about, just that you have to take the bad ones to get to the good ones. And so if people want to follow me on social media, they will get those pretty much every Monday.
Fantastic. Shelley, so thank you so much for being here with us. And it was really fun chatting with you. And I do want to see if you could spell out where to find you, because your Shelley spelling is maybe not how people might anticipate. Yes. There's an extra E.
I probably should actually have the other domains too. My main website is shelleypaulson.com, and that's SHELLEYPAULSON. And then from there, you can get to my education site. But if you want to go straight to the education site, it's shelleypaulsoneducation.com. So just throw education at the end of it. And then all my, social handles are at Shelley Paulson Photography.
Fantastic. And we'll have that in the show notes as well. Thank you for joining us today, Shelley. I hope you have a great holiday season. And I'm now going to be on a hunt for trying to find the perfect winter riding skirt.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. It was fun chatting.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's not easy being a cowgirl, but a little magic helps. No matter if you're a horse trainer, photographer, mother, secretary, or athlete, Cowgirl Magic Hand Cream is here to add a hint of the lush life to any active, hardworking lifestyle. The new Cowgirl Magic Ultra Hydrating Cream is luxurious, rejuvenating, and clean, complemented by a light, soothing fragrance. Formulated with a blend of coconut, apricot, avocado, sesame, and olive oil, this age-defying formula works hard to deeply hydrate, restore, and fight the appearance of wrinkles as it absorbs quickly with no residue or greasy feel. From the makers of Cowboy Magic, Straight Arrow is proud to present this age-defying moisturizer, new to Cowboy Magic's line of products, adding a cowgirl's touch.
Today, we are chatting with Rachel Dearson, the Equine and Farm Animal Assistant Manager at MSPCA Nevins Farm. Rachel, thank you for joining us today, and we would love to hear about this month's adoptable horse, Faith. Who would be a good fit for Faith?
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. Faith is a very special girl, and we're really excited to get to feature her. She is a 17-year-old thoroughbred. She is off the track. Unfortunately, her tattoo is pretty faded, so we're having trouble identifying her exactly from her racing days. But she is a really great mare. We just started getting her back into work. We got her from her previous owner with a diagnosis of kissing spine. So she's looking to get into a home with an experienced horse person that can help her build up those muscles along her spine so that she can get back into light riding. Mostly walk trot with a little bit of canter is what our vets are recommending for her. But her gait is gorgeous. She has one of the biggest trots I've ever seen.
Sounds awesome.
She looks really pretty.
Yeah, she's how tall did you say, Rhoda?
She's about 15 hands, so she's a smaller thoroughbred.
Okay. Gotcha. And could you tell us more about your facility and what you specialize in?
Yes, here at the MSPCA, we are kind of a everything shelter. You know, we have the typical dogs, cats, and small animals, but here at Nevins, we have the farm animals as well. So not only do we have the horses, but you'll find pigs, goats, chickens, turkeys, ducks, and even just recently we had an emu here on property.
Oh my gosh. Is the emu still there?
No, the emu was adopted recently. So we are happy that it got to find a home with other emus.
Oh, that's great. Because I was going to say you could get Faith and take home an emu as well.
Well, we always have package deals here. So, you know, a horse and a goat. You never know what you can find here.
That is true. They do. And especially if she was on the track at one point, she's probably used to having goats around her.
She is. She's currently turned out next to our herd of about 46 goats. So she has a lot of goat experience.
Fantastic. Where can people go to take a look at Faith and learn more about her? And if they'd like to apply to adopt her?
Yes, so we can have you find Faith in a couple of ways. She is on the My Right Horse website, and you can fill out an application there for her, or you can go to our own website, which is mspca.org, and she is listed there under our adoptable animals, and you can fill out an application there. Our adoption process is pretty open. So once you submit an application, one of our staff gives you a call. We talk to see exactly what you're looking for in a horse and see if Faith's the right match for you. And then we'll schedule a time for you to come out and meet, work with her, and see if it really is a good match for you.
And Rachel, remind us again of your location. So people who are listening to this, if they're on the opposite end of the country, I don't know if you adopt out of state or if you could just tell us a little bit more about where you are geographically.
We are in Methuen, Massachusetts, which is about 30 minutes north of Boston, right on the New Hampshire border. We are open to adopting out of state, really just anything that gets these horses in the right home for them.
Fantastic. Well, we will have your information and Faith's information in our show notes. And thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Rachel. You can listen to all of our past episodes at horseillustrated.com/podcast. And for a special subscription discount just for podcast listeners on Horse Illustrated or Young Rider magazines, visit horseillustrated.com/barnbanter. Thanks for listening. See you next time.